We are a quarter way through the 2023 NFL season, and I'm here to tell you which 4 NFL teams are being seen as pretty decent football teams right now that I think are going to be exposed as frauds by the end of this 2023 campaign. Before I reveal my 4 fraudulent franchises on today's edition of NFL Daily, get the ball rolling down there in the comments section and let me know which team you think is the biggest fraud in the National Football League right now. A team that people think is good, but really they're just hiding in plain sight as a fraudulent franchise. Let's start with the Baltimore Ravens. And listen, the Baltimore Ravens, when you look at the numbers, they're pretty darn good, right? They're moving the football effectively. Defensively, they're doing a pretty decent job. But overall, I think this team is pretty undisciplined, and they've been shooting themselves in the foot here these first 5 weeks. They're currently sitting at 3-2. And listen, this team should be first in the AFC North. No doubt about it, given the talent that's here, given the head coach that's been here forever, right? You start your season off with 2 nice wins against the Houston Texans at home. Then you go on the road to Cincinnati against a struggling Bengals team, and you only win by 3 points in overtime, all right? So you almost lose that one, but then you do lose to the Colts at home by a field goal, and Gardner Minshew was the quarterback of that football team, and we all know that the Colts aren't the most talented roster in the National Football League. They definitely should have won that Week 3 matchup. They didn't because of mistakes. And in Week 4, they played a pretty clean football game against the Cleveland Browns, and lo and behold, look at what you got there, 28-3 victory. And you know what? I was drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit after that Week 4 win. I thought they were going to kill the Steelers at Acrisure Stadium, but once again, I'm the Steelers host, in case you guys don't know that. I watched every single snap of that game, and they were shooting themselves in the foot time and time again. 2 drop touchdowns in the end zone, wide open, 3 turnovers, and a blocked punt, contributing to 14 of Pittsburgh's 17 points. I mean, the game was there for the taking for Baltimore, and it was kind of like the SpongeBob meme. You had the ice cream cone, and SpongeBob just says, "You can have it. You take this win from us, man." And that's exactly what the Steelers did. So the Ravens keep beating themselves here, or the Ravens keep beating themselves this season, man. I look at this team. There's a lot of talent here. There's a lot of good stuff. Lamar Jackson is a top 10 quarterback in this league, in my opinion. But if they keep beating themselves, if they keep shooting themselves in the foot, if they keep racking up the drop passes, they keep turning the football over, they're not going to be able to compete in this loaded AFC conference. There are so many good teams in this conference right now. Miami, Buffalo, Cincinnati, if Joe Burrow can get back healthy again, right? The Chargers, if Justin Herbert is healthy. Kansas City, for God's sakes. I mean, there's so many good teams in this AFC, and we know Lamar Jackson hasn't been the best playoff quarterback to this point in his career, and given the lack of discipline around him right now, I can't say I'm confident in the Baltimore Ravens as a legitimate Super Bowl contender at this point in the 2023 season. Today's edition of NFL Daily is brought to you by today's sponsor, Prize Picks. If you're looking for a more fun way to spend your game days this year, get started with Prize Picks today. Prize Picks is a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game. Now you might be asking yourself, how does it work? Here's how. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they will go for more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. So let's take a look at my Prize Picks projections for this Monday night matchup between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Green Bay Packers. I've got the less on Josh Jacobs' rushing yards because the Raiders are dead last in rushing offense this year. I don't think that Josh Jacobs is going to get more than 75 yards today. Then I've got the more on Devontae Adams. He's going back to Green Bay. Of course, he's going to get more on that. Then we got Jimmy Garoppolo. I got the less on Jimmy. Just don't think he's a very good quarterback. I think he gets less than the 240.5 passing yards that they project him at. So now check it out at prizepicks.com/CLNS today and use our code CLNS for a deposit match up to $100. At Prize Picks, you aren't competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks. With Prize Picks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks, so get started right away. Do it before tonight's Monday Night Football matchup. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS for a deposit match up to $100 today. Yes, Cowboys fans, I am pulling the trigger on this one. Your Dallas Cowboys, they're frauds. Sitting at 3-2 right now. Let's take a look at what they've had to go through here through the first 5 weeks. First, you get the fraudulent Giants, right? The Giants suck. Okay, a 40-0 victory there, especially when the Giants kept turning the football over. I mean, goodness gracious, that's not really an impressive win. Then you beat the New York Jets 30-10. Big deal. You completely wallop some of the worst teams in the National Football League. Good for you. All right, but then you take a huge loss to the Arizona Cardinals on the road. Guess what? Even the New York Giants could beat the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. Why couldn't you? 28-16. I think you can definitely see the impact of Trayvon Diggs' injury at this point. Week 4, you completely pound the New England Patriots. Guess what? They're probably a bottom 5 team in the National Football League. This has been an extremely easy schedule to this point, and then their first real test of the season at the 49ers on the road. You get absolutely trounced. 42-10. Dak Prescott doesn't look good. The defense gets absolutely toasted by Brock Purdy and company, and the Niners now look like the best team in the NFC because of it. The truth with the Dallas Cowboys is they are a good football team, okay? It's hard to be a bad football team and beat other bad teams by 20, 30 points, right? They can completely destroy bad football teams, all right? But great teams, they can compete and win against other really good and great football teams. And let's just call it what it is. Mike McCarthy, the head coach, is holding this Cowboys roster back with all the talent that they have here in Dallas. They should be able to compete for a Super Bowl, especially in a weaker NFC conference this year. They should be right there in the thick of it with Philly and San Francisco. But as we saw last night, this team under Mike McCarthy isn't even in the same league as those two football teams, at least in my opinion. So let me know down in the comments section, are the Dallas Cowboys a fraudulent football team? Let me know your take down there in the comments section by giving me a yes or no down there in the comments. Another fraudulent football team, in my opinion, right now is the Seattle Seahawks. Of course, a playoff team last year. They've gotten off to a 3-1 start, 3 straight wins. They had the bye here in Week 5. Take that Week 1 loss at home versus Los Angeles, 30-13. Doesn't look good, but then you beat the Lions 37-27. That is an impressive victory. I will give them that, especially on the road in Detroit. But then you get the Panthers at home, and you let Andy Dalton throw all over the yard on you, man. That's Andy freaking Dalton. You do come away with a good offensive performance because Carolina's defense sucks. We all know that, 37-27. And then against the Giants, yes, you rack up a ton of sacks. I think the number was 11 sacks. But people are using that game to say, oh my gosh, the Seattle Seahawks have one of the best pass rushes in the National Football League. Here's the thing, though. They only had 5 sacks in the first 3 weeks. That was among the league's lowest numbers in the National Football League. And now that they have had another week here in the Week 5 bye, that narrative has continued to grow here that Seattle's pass rush is actually pretty good when it really isn't. In my opinion, the talent really isn't there on the Seahawks pass rush here. I really don't think they're as good as a lot of people are propping them up to be. I think that inflated 11 sack number is not indicative of the talent that they have here. I think eventually this defense will get exposed as fraudulent. I like Geno Smith. I think they have good weapons on offense, all that good stuff. But right now the offensive line is a little bit banged up. I don't think they're as dominant of a team in the NFC as people think. And it really wouldn't surprise me if they end up being third in the NFC West behind of course, San Francisco, and then also the Los Angeles Rams, who, of course, beat the Seahawks in their place in Week 1. So now sub to NFL Daily, to our Chat Sports channel here, our main Chat Sports channel. We got NFL content on here every single day, so if you want to keep up with the very latest on all 32 NFL franchises, as well as lists like this, make sure you click that subscribe button right now. Final team that we're going to be talking about today is one of the teams playing in tonight's football game on Monday Night Football, the Green Bay Packers. And listen, if anybody knows me from my days back in Minnesota, I am a Minnesota boy. So no, this is not just bias, all right? You take a look at what's going on right now. They beat the Bears, an impressive victory there, 38-20. People say, oh my gosh, Jordan Love is the man. But then you lose to the Falcons and Desmond Ridder in Week 2 on the road by a point. Then you barely squeak out a win against, I think, the fraudulent Saints by just one score. You were down by, I think, double digits in the fourth quarter. And then Jordan Love, right when Derek Carr goes out, magically, Jordan Love turns it on. And then, oh my goodness, man, they got absolutely toasted in Week 4 by the Detroit Lions, 34-20. I really don't think it was even that close. I think that the Lions absolutely destroyed the Green Bay Packers and expose them as frauds this week against Las Vegas. I actually think that Green Bay is going to end up winning this football game. I think Las Vegas is that bad. Their offensive line and their defense and their coaching is absolutely terrible. Quarterback play isn't there either. I think Green Bay is slightly better than Las Vegas at this point, but they're not the threat in the NFC that people are going to think they are after they beat the Raiders tonight. I don't think Jordan Love is really as good as Packer fans want him to be. I mean, right now, less than 60% completion percentage, 901 yards through 4 weeks. That's not fantastic. And yes, he's protecting the football. Kudos to Jordan Love for that. But he's definitely not a top, maybe even 15 quarterback in this league right now. He's a bottom-tier starter. That's what Jordan Love is. A lot of us know that. He's had mental processing issues. He's had accuracy issues in the past. We all know the talent, the physical talent that Jordan Love brings to the table. He's got incredible arm strength. He's got great arm talent. But that's not everything with the position. It's footwork. It's mental processing. It's the ability to move in the pocket efficiently. And I just don't see that with Jordan Love, especially in the accuracy department, which has always been his biggest, my biggest gripe with his football game. And then also the defense. I think there's a lot of talent on the Packers defense, but Joe Barry, their defensive coordinator, oh my gosh, I hate this man. Cover 4 quarters on almost every single play call. He is the worst defensive coordinator in the National Football League, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not the only one that thinks that either. Go on Packers Twitter. Go on Packers YouTube. They will all say how bad of a DC Joe Barry is, and he is holding back this talented defense back. So overall, the roster's not bad. You got a decent offensive line, a decent run game, a quarterback that's protecting the football, and a talented defense. But overall, are they really contenders? And even a weak NFC? I really don't think so. And honestly, I probably think that I like the Minnesota Vikings, who currently sit at 1-4 right now, more than I like the Green Bay Packers, who after this week's Monday Night Football matchup will probably end up sitting at 3-2. I still like the Vikings over the Packers, and maybe that's the Minnesota in me, but maybe not. All right, now go ahead. If you want more stuff from me on Twitter, if you want more NFL analysis, film analysis, advanced statistics, I put all that stuff on my Twitter, guys. My name is Jack Sperry. I'm an NFL analyst here at Chat Sports. If you want more from me, go to @Jack_Sperry on Twitter. Really appreciate all of your guys' support. And until next time, peace.